Hi everyone, so my name is Bunga from Group 2 and I'm here with my other team members. There are Ariel, Nashwa, Ray, and Quincy, and we would like to present our discussion regarding Islam and its social, cultural, political dynamics in Indonesia. So the first one here, we got the abstract part. So Islam is one of the world's major monotheistic religions, and by monotheistic means, Islam teach the oneness of God, known in Arabic as Allah. Islam has six fundamental principles. There are Tauheed, Malaikah, Kutub, Anbiya, Yaumideen, and Taqdir, and also five pillars of Islam, which are Shahadah, prayer, Saum, Zakat, and Hajj. There are several theories on the coming of Islam to Nusantara. There are Gujarat theory, the Makkah theory, and the Persian theory. And the last one, Indonesia's Muslim roles in global context might seem unremarkable, despite of being one of the most Muslim country, but Indonesia has given big impacts to some movements, for example, the local purposes and some activities.
And as for introduction to Islam as a religious belief, first up we have Islam's five pillar, which include Shahadah. Shahadah is a declaration of faith, and its Arabic version is pronounced as Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. The second one is prayer, which is done 5 times a day, facing Islam's principal monument, the Makkah. Third one is Saum, which is where Muslims everywhere on the 9th month of the Islamic calendar fast from food, drinks, and temptations. The fourth one is Zakaat, which is donating income to the less privileged. And the last one is Hajj, which is Muslim traveling to the holy city of Muslims in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. And second one, Islam as an equitable belief uses Al-Quran as a guideline. Al-Quran is a main religious council text with over 6,000 ayahs or sentences to lead Muslims to accepted content life. And Islam, the earthly life is solely on evaluation to determine one's hereafter, because the true purpose of Muslim lies in how someone spends their life to later be considered if they're worthy to enter heaven or hell.
Okay, the first one is the concept of Islam as a mercy of all creation. Allah is forgiving, or commonly called Al-Ghafar. Al-Ghafar is one of the good names of Allah in the 99 Asmaul Husna. And no one can forgive sins except Allah. So Prophet Muhammad was commanded to convey to Allah's servants. And Surah Al-Zumar, it means give a great hope. And even higher than forgiveness is giving. So by giving each other, Allah will forgive our sins more easily, something like that.
As for our second topic, we have the history of Islam in Indonesia, and as the first subtopic, we have theories on the coming of Islam to Indonesia. So there are a handful of theories. The first one have Gujarat theory, which is a theory that highlights tombstones as their main proof that explains that Islam was brought to Indonesia from Gujarat, a region in West India. This theory was brought about by a Dutch scholar named Snoek Hoebrunch, and another scholar named Stutterheim declared that in support for the Gujarat theory, this is based on the similarity in tombstones of the two nations. Second one, we have the Makkah theory, which is supported by Buya Hamka, or Indonesian philosopher, that states that Gujarat is not the center of Islamic expansion, rather just a stopover with Makkah as the main and center place for adopting Islamic teaching. And the third one, we have Persian. This theory accentuates its proof more on culture and tradition-wise. Its examples include the similarity, the celebration of 10 Muharram to commemorate the death of Sayyid Hussein. So the similarity is the same in both Persian culture and Indonesian culture. As our second subtopic, or the spread of Islam to Nusantara, it was mostly filled with long-time voyagers discovering the existence of Islam in Indonesia and capturing it in the form of writing. And during the 1400s, specifically, the spread of Islam increased with the help of the widely known Wali Songo. And the method used is like incorporating music and through education as well, and using wayang as a form of teaching. And as the third subtopic, we have the early period of development from 1600s to 1945, which mostly revolves around the education. A prominent role in the expansion of pesantren fell to Sultan Agung, a Mataram king, who maintained relationship with local cleric preachers, thus resulting in environments where he able to construct more than 300 pesantren branches all over Java. And then the impact of pesantren is very prominent to the point that A.H. John infers pesantren as the main persona of Islam development during this timeline. As for Islam in the post-independence from 1956 up until now, it can be described as intricate and is closely linked to the instability of the political situation at the time. Islamic political parties really pushed their agenda of making Indonesia an Islamic country, which caused them to collide with other parties' ideology.
Okay, so next we have the basic teachings of Islam. The first one, we get the 5 pillars of Islam. There is faith. Faith is declaration of faith, kalimat syahadah, that is declared by a believer as the acceptance of Islam. The next one is prayer, pouring forth of the soul before the divine majesty. The third one, we got fasting. Fasting or Saum during Ramadan, believed by the Muslim as a change to purify themselves. The fourth one, we got zakat or tax on wealth, as also called as the purification of wealth. And the last one, we get Hajj or pilgrimage to Mecca, when a Muslim who is physically fit and has the necessary means must undertake at least once in their life. The next one, we got the 6 fundamental principles of Islam. The first one is the Tauheed or unity of Allah, the acknowledgement of the oneness of Allah. The second one, we got Malaika, creatures that have to obey Allah and carry out His commandments. The third one, we got Kutub or books that is used as the holy books. And also we got Anbiya or prophets in Islam are believed in and revered by the Muslims. And next we got Yaumideen or the day of judgment, the day when this entire universe will come to an end and the dead will be resurrected. And the last one, we got Taqdir or divine decree. Muslims believe that divine decree controls the outcome of all their actions in this universe.
Okay, the fourth one is Islamic branches in Indonesia, opportunity and challenges. So scientific and technological progress is the result of human upbringing and must be adjusted to fit national identities, noble values, traditions, cultures, and religions. So therefore, there is a need to reorient the balance between Islamic education and technology. So the education not become passive as a spectator rather than an actor. So Islamic education is compulsory, selective, critical, and open to the emergence of globalization. So like televisions, mobile phones, and even the internet are no strangers to rural people. So globalization has led to a variety of cosmopolitan lifestyles.
For the fifth topic, I'm gonna discuss about the difference between classic Islamic education and modern Islamic education. For the classic Islamic education, the purpose is for socialization of Islam. The curriculum has not changed since medieval times. The command of God increases knowledge. Questioning perceptions and assumptions are not justified. Memorizing is important. Student mindset is passive or always accept. Education is not differentiated. For modern Islamic education, the purpose is for the development of individuality. The curriculum follows subject changes. Knowledge is used as a problem solver. Questioning perspectives and assumptions are justified. Internalization of key concepts is very important. Student mindset is active or positivistic or critical. And the last thing is education can be highly specialized. For the sixth topic, I'm going to discuss about Islamic culture in Indonesia. Out of all nations, Indonesia has the highest Muslim population. There are currently an estimated 207 million Muslims living worldwide, the majority of whom practice Sunni Islam. Second one is Indonesia is democratic, secular nation with significant Islamic influences. Some conservative Islamic organizations have come out in support of the creation of a Muslim nation. The establishment of an Islamic state has always been seen as a catalyst for discord and calls for separatism. Third, Indonesia has been converting to Islam for many years, and it is still happening now. Islam emerged in waves and eventually became a powerful influence. Last, however, it is accurate to say that since 207, Orthodox Islamic social streams in Indonesian society appear to have become more influential in local and national politics. However, because each region has its own past affected by distinct and different influences, modern Indonesian Islam is also characterized by heterogeneity.
Okay, for the seventh topic, I'm going to explain about Muslim roles in Indonesian politics, Indonesian independence, and the challenges of Islamic political parties in modern Indonesia. The rise of Islamic sentiment in Indonesian politics was influenced by the communist movement outlawment. Since Indonesia left was destroyed in the program of 1965 until 1966, the public's anger about the social inequality could no longer be expressed through vocabulary of class conflict. Because of the stigma produced by official propaganda, many avoided socialist thought. Therefore, under the new order, educated Indonesian could only use Islam as a potent ideological language to resist social and economic inequality. People in rural Java, which had served as the Communist Party headquarters, have maintained their adherence to Abangan Islam, an Indonesian form of Islam that is more syncretic. Islam was the only heaven from their social, economic, political, and more issues when PKI was outlawed. Also, running for president in Indonesia seems to mean having to show one commitment to Islam. As we know, in 2019 presidential election featured a very prominent use of Islamic cultural symbols and rituals. Both Joko Widodo and Prabowo Subianto demonstrated their relationship through Islam. Both are also seeking support from Islamic political parties, religious leaders, Islamic boarding school, and mass organization to increase their electability. Even the vice presidential candidate from Jokowi's side, who now serves as a vice president, previously served as a chairman of the Indonesian Ulama Council, or MUI. For the eighth topic, I'm going to explain about Muslim as majority and minority in Indonesia. Out of all countries in the world, Indonesia has the highest Muslim population. Currently, there are an estimated 207 million Muslims out there in Indonesia, the majority of whom adhere to Sunni Islam. This significant percentage indicates that almost 13% of all Muslims worldwide live in Indonesia, indicating that Muslims constitute the largest part of the country's population. However, despite having a Muslim majority, the country is not governed by Islamic law, which makes it a non-Islamic or non-Muslim country. Attacks on Indonesia's minority religions have been often covered by national and international media in recent years. Some extremist Muslim organizations, such as the Front Pembela Islam, employ violence against members of non-Muslim community. They are targeting non-Muslims who sell food during the daylight during the holy month of Ramadan. The fact that the Indonesian government and courts are not resolute in their opposition to such extremist organization is concerning, as it suggests that the government has a tenacious grip on the use of force. But it should be noted as well that the vast majority of Indonesian Muslim want a peaceful and pluralistic religious environment.
Okay, so for the last topic, we got the role of Indonesian Muslim in the global context. Indonesia's role in international Muslim forums such as the Organization of the Islamic Conference has been unremarkable. Indonesia's growing confidence can also be seen in increased humanitarian activities oriented toward Palestine. They haven't written big scientist-sizing works, but rather several small pieces, typically in response to questions or circumstances that, while inspired by universal principles, may not instantly make sense to foreign audience. Eventually, the increased visibility of the Indonesian Ummah has drawn a broad range of transnational Muslim movements to the country, for some of which Indonesia appears to be becoming the most important field of action.
So, in conclusion, the majority of people in Indonesia are Muslims who uphold religious principles in their daily lives. Islam also has some basic teachings that include the 6 fundamental principles and 5 pillars as a foundation to lead a content life filled with good virtues. To conclude, Islam as a faith promotes utmost fairness and peacefulness. Its impact on the world, and most specifically on Indonesia, is undeniably dynamic. As Muslims in Indonesia, we face opportunities and challenges in every aspect of life, especially in the 21st century globalization era.
And this is it for Group 2's presentation. Apologies for any inconvenience or any wrong choice of words. Thank you so much for paying attention.